Our today's guest is Erika Botha. She is a relationship coach. She will guide us to maintain simple steps of how to keep a marriage life successful by keeping healthy relationship. Without wasting much time, let us jump into the video. Hey guys, I'm Showman, father of two dogs, one bird, a backbencher, married to a school teacher, a photographer turned market analyst, and I'm also a podcaster who will help you to launch your podcast and your audience will go crazy about it. I'm the host and producer of this podcast channel, Chase Your Dream. Welcome to my channel. Before we begin, don't forget to press the subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you never miss a show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Chase Your Dream. Today, we have among us someone who is from Canada and who is a relationship coach, Erika Botha. Erika, welcome to my show.
Oh, thank you, Sherman, and really a privilege to talk to you today.
So, I will start with a very simple question, which is what is the difference between relationship and a ship?
Between relationship and what?
And a ship.
And it you asked me this deep question that I have to think, but now you Well, I think both of them can sink, right? So if we have to make up both of them can sink, and it's just, do you want it to sink? Do you crash into the iceberg? Are you the Titanic or not? Look at me, I'm thinking about the answer for your question. I love it.
Now let's come to some serious questions. So what does a relationship coach do?
So a relationship coach helps people to have happy marriages. Now there's a little bit of a difference between a relationship coach and a relationship counselor. Now I am very careful to say that I am the one and not the other one, because I was actually doing relationship counseling my whole life. So from 2004, and 3 years ago I decided to do my coaching certificate, and that's how I changed it to relationship coach. But I'm still doing both. So because in some instances you need to do both. So counseling is really, you look back at the past and you try to heal the wounds of the past. And coaches looking at the future and working out a plan and how do you go ahead. Now for me, it's like the one cannot be without the other. You have to heal your past so that you can go to the future. You have to forgive your partner so that you can look at the future and build a future together, right? So I am actually doing both. Although that I call myself a relationship coach, I had done from 2004 relationship counseling. So a coach is really building the future, coach you in your life, in your marriage.
So what dragged you in this field?
So from high school, all my friends had come to me for relationship advice. But at that stage, I never thought that can be a career. I mean, that is like how many years ago it wasn't even a thought. But I went to university and studied psychology. And after that, I got actually involved in accounting. But me and my husband experienced a trauma. And this is the one thing that I want to tell our listeners and our viewers, that if you experience any life trauma, it's almost inevitable that your marriage will not go through that same trauma. So because it's just too big. And a trauma can be anything from a spouse that having cancer, a child that getting sick, your spouse having an affair, anything like that is very traumatic for a marriage. And if your marriage experienced that, then your marriage going through a trauma. That's what happened with me and my husband. Our marriage went through a trauma with a child that was born at 29 weeks. So we have been with her in hospital for the first 3 months, didn't know if she will survive. And luckily she did. But if you go through something like that, your marriage, your whole life changed in seconds. Your whole life changed. And so we went through that, and the first year was just survival, just getting this child out of hospital, getting her healthy. And after the first year, Showman, both of us went into this depression, me and my husband. And we couldn't talk because now the trauma is done. Now you handle basically like PTSD. So you're in that mode, in that stage, and both of us couldn't talk to each other. We both just went deeper and deeper into our depression. We never had planned to have children. I wanted to be a career woman, and here I have this child that's taking up my whole life. So it was really traumatic for us to go through that, to the point that we lost our faith. We didn't believe in God anymore. I did, but my husband completely didn't believe in God anymore. And 3 years later, our marriage was absolutely done. Finances was done. There was nothing left for us. And and so one day I prayed to God and said, listen, now you have to help me, because now I cannot go on my own anymore. So at that stage, I was surrendering to God anymore, but my husband hadn't. So I was praying for him for another 2 years only. And then miraculously, for somebody that don't believe, God had worked out a way that he got him at a marriage seminar, a marriage counseling seminar. So we went there, and God showed him to my husband, and my husband started believing in God again. And at that moment, our marriage got restored, because I also believe that you have to have some spiritual connection to grow in who you are and to make you a full, complete person. It's like you, the body, the mind, and the soul. You cannot distinct the one from the other and not have all three of them together. Anyway, so then we started working on our marriage, and this group of people that we went to their seminar, they had draw us in and say, hey, you guys have this amazing testimony and everything that we teach work for you, and why don't you come and join us? So they teach us as counselors. They had so we went through all their training, and then we started becoming counselors ourselves. And that's how we ended up really being in that industry. So that's how I ended up being a marriage counselor. So yeah, what a journey in life, eh? How would I ever think of? it's like, yeah, and now it's my passion. It's like I cannot not be that. It's like, who am I? I am a marriage counselor. So yeah. So yeah, it's like. Sorry.
Carry on, please.
It's like the journey in life. You go through something traumatic, but God made this beautiful, beautiful life out of it eventually, where you help people, isn't it? It's like what you're doing as well. You help people week after week after week.
True. So what, according to you, is the term relationship mean?
According to me, sorry?
According to you, what is the term relationship mean to you?
So, the modern day relationships mean something different than what I really like to believe a relationship is. So a relationship is for me two people that really become one. And what we see these days on Netflix and on Apple TV and all of that, that is not a relationship. And when people ask me, what is your biggest challenge? My biggest challenge is Netflix, because I have to get out of people's mind that is not a relationship. It's not when you have your first fight, then you storm out of the relationship. You're so in love, and then you have your first disagreement and you storm out of the relationship, and now it's broken up, and eventually somewhere here at the end of the movie they're coming together, and then they're never going to have a fight ever again. No, that's not how it works. So you will have arguments, disagreements, differences, whatever, on a daily basis. I am now married for 26 years. Trust me and my husband, we don't agree on everything. And isn't it fantastic? Because I really don't want to be married to another Erika. And he don't want to be married to another Philip. That will not work. Some days I also don't like myself too much. So it will be horrible to be married to me. So I don't want him to think the same way. I want him to think differently. I want him to think, if we have, like, say we're taking a financial decision, I want him to bring another viewpoint to the argument and say, oh, no, I don't think we have to invest our money this way. I think we have to invest it that way. Yeah, for me, a relationship is this most amazing thing that two people get together, completely different people, different cultures. Now, I had immigrated from South Africa to Canada, so I'm used to different cultures all the time. So it's two people, different cultures, different upbringings, different parents, different thoughts, different everything. You put them together and they're creating this something beautiful out of it, with everything that life's throw at them. Because life is throwing so many curveballs to you, and eventually it's this beautiful, beautiful oneness. And that's what it is, that oneness. That is what a relationship is, that peace of mind, that you're going to be together forever. And that's what I want to create for people. Help them navigating through all the differences, all the arguments. See an argument as an opportunity. If you change your mind on that and see an argument as an opportunity to know and learn what your partner thinks, and use it as an opportunity to grow your relationship, an argument is actually something beautiful. So that is how I see a relationship. Oneness. That's the one word that I will link to a relationship.
Mm-hmm. So how do personality types affect a relationship?
Oh my golly. So the first thing I do is I give people the personality test. Now, I use a basic one. I don't make it complicated. I don't take psychology into account. I'm using the 4 temperaments, which is phlegmatic, choleric, sanguine, and now I forgot the other one. So, but it's those 4. You put me on the spot too quickly here. So you take all 4 of that, and you put it together, and say, all right, where do you fit into this? And then you see you have an extrovert and you have an introvert. You have a person that is the rational, and then you have the person that's the irrational. You have the one that is the arty one, and you have the one that is the math one, the one that just make up stories, and the other one's no, we're doing it that way. So, but it is amazing to navigate through that. Because again, if I marry to somebody that's exactly the same as I am, can you think I am phlegmatic? So it means like I am always the same, I'm scared to take any decisions. So if I'm married to my husband, who is the same as I am, in the same Erika, oh my golly, can you think nothing will happen in our marriage? And if you put two people together that's both choleric, which is the A type of personality, they're the leaders of the world, put them together, you will have fireworks. It's not that it's not going to work, but you see, it's better to put 2 different personalities together than one in the same. So, and then you have the sanguinis, which is they are just the guys that want to make everybody happy, that want to party, So it's so important to know your partner's personality type, that you can navigate from that. Yeah, he's doing that because he's that type of person, and that's okay with me. That's his manual, and that's what he lives by. His manual tell him to take control of this situation. My manual tell me to go and relax, lie on the bed. So, and then you understand each other. Just help to understand the other person.
So what are the key areas that mainly cause conflict in most of the marriages?
Oh, money and sex. money is the main reason for divorces currently in the US. So, and I get it. I get it. We're in a different stage than 50, 60 years ago. Remember 50, 60 years ago, and perhaps a little bit longer in different countries, but women didn't have the right to work. The women didn't have the right to earn money. And the women that did work earned just a little bit of a salary. So they could hardly survive. So they got married at that stage so that they can survive, that they can have a house to live in. And so they were actually married so that men can look after them. But nowadays it changed. So women earn the same amount of money that men do. Women don't need men anymore for that survival. So the relationship had completely changed. My money becomes my money now, because most women, not most, but a lot of women earn more than what their husbands earn. So now your money is yours. It's not like the old times. So to navigate through this, that my money is my money. Now, my suggestion is, if you want to be one and want to be secure and have a marriage forever, have one account. But it's also not that easy, because you do get people that have a gambling problem or an addiction problem or a shopping problem or something like that. Then you probably need to split the accounts and say, hey, we have one bank account where all the expenses going to be paid out from, but I have an account which is my golf and my gambling account, and you have an account which is your shopping and your visits with your lady friends account, whatever the case is, So it's a little bit more complicated these days to navigate through money than it was in the past. The past was easy. The men had control the money and they earned the money, and that was it. So yeah, but money and sex, that's the two main issues.
Yes, true, very true. So on this point, I will ask you, what are the costly mistakes most of the women make when they are seeking for a soulmate?
Money. I want a glamorous life. What can we say? We like bling. So we like things that bling. We want a glamorous life. So I think if you're insecure, there's a lot of things. I make it easy. It's not that simple. There's a lot of things. It depends on your self-confidence. If you are really self-confident, you will probably look a little bit longer, not making a mistake, don't need a guy to fulfill who you are, to make you happy, to fulfill your needs, all of that. So it depends on what type of job you have and that kind of thing. So right now, the average age for Americans to get married is only 34 years. Way later in life, getting later and later and later, because women's self-confidence, they have jobs, they have earned money, so that their needs is different than what it was. So so little bit more mistakes on that side if you're getting married, first of all, a little bit later in your life. So then the other thing, if your self-confidence is not high, and if you need and if you're perhaps coming out of a very unhappy household, you think to get out of there and out of your situation, you want to get married. So you will just take the first best guy that coming along, and not knowing even what your own requirements is for a guy. So there's three things that you have to look at. You look at the requirements. So a requirement is something that you don't navigate from. So if you go through me, we will write down what is your requirements. It's normally like 10 or 15 requirements that you have. So the first will be probably say in my case, my husband have to be a Christian. That's something that I will have. In somebody else's case, they will say, I don't care about religion, or I want my husband must be part of the Muslim community because that is what I believe in. So that will be a requirement. Other requirement will be, I had a client that said her husband have to be 6.2 meters. Well, 6.2 feet. I thought, how can that be a requirement? But she was so adamant that he had to be taller than her. She just couldn't get away with that. So that's her requirement. That's her requirement, as you know, it is. Some people say, well, my requirement must be that he work. Then I will challenge them and say, but what if he's a billionaire? Do you think you have to work? Some people say, yes, I don't want a lazy guy having money and lying on the couch all day, and that I don't want. So we will work for that. And then you get, after that, you get your needs and your wants. So your need is, I need somebody that will love me forever. I need somebody that will make sure that all the bills is paid every month. And your wants is, I want somebody to massage my feet every evening. It's something that you don't need really. You can, if you don't give you a foot massage every evening, you will still survive. But yeah, it's important to know that. And if you know what your requirements is, and you're on the dating scene, you can quickly go and say, hey, this guy is not for me. He don't fit my requirements. But women don't know that. They don't know there's rules. If we're looking for a career, we have to have some qualifications to be in a certain career. So there's some rules to be in a workable marriage. So, and some of it is that know what you require of this marriage, know what you want from this marriage, know what you need from this guy, write it down, make lists, and continue from there on.
So as you rightly told, that there are two things which is the major area of conflict. One is money and one is sex. So money is okay, you can control. And if at any point of time that spark is not there for sex, what to do? Can a counselor bring it back, or how? I think it is the most important cause actually nowadays.
Right. So there can be millions of reasons why you don't have that. Now, Shtoman, I don't know if you are married, but I mean, later on your marriage, after the first 6 months, the spark of that butterflies start disappearing. And then you're getting engaged, then you're getting it back again, and then you get married. And that first year is amazing. And the second year, all the problems start. And when you, like me, 26 years later, it's like you have to create this spark. It's not there automatically, because me and my husband, we are so one. We are so comfortable with each other. And one thing that we do in marriages, we get so, what's the right English word? Complacent. What's that word? I don't pronounce it correctly. But you're getting so used to this other guy that you don't try to impress him anymore. You don't do your makeup anymore. You don't want to look beautiful. In the beginning, it's like, oh, what am I going to wear? And later on, it's like, okay, it's just you. No, to put that spark back is still looking after yourself. And me and my husband, we still do that. 26 years later, it's like, he asked me, so what do I have to dress? We went to Niagara Falls this weekend, and when he packed his bag, he's like, do you like this shirt? Do you like that? Now, my husband really, he don't understand anything about clothes, but he wants me to be proud of him when I walk beside him and think, wow, you are such an attractive guy. So that is now just on looks, but there is so much more. There can be infidelity, there can be affairs, there can be like a crisis, a trauma that a person go through, that just the sex drive is just going down. If you go through work and you have a lot of stress at work, get home in the evening, you're dead tired. You can have a physical disability. You can have from a sore back to something way more bigger that can contribute to that. Your communication, your time that you spend with each other is, me and my husband, to have that connection, for us as women to have that connection and want to have sex, we really need to be intimate and feel close to this guy. Now, you cannot fight with me tonight and 2-3 hours later you want to have sex. That's not how women's head work. So there's millions of reasons why that is not happening. But when you work on your communication, and work on this relationship, it will be no effort to have sex with each other. It will be enjoyable. It will be something that you miss if you don't have that, because that brings that oneness and that closeness that I talked about earlier. What a relationship is all about, that safety place where you want to be at. And I mean, what is not nicer than this amazing romantic evening with the one you love? So,
very good. So, how to leverage your business and workplace relationship?
say again, how to leverage my business?
Leverage between your business and workplace relationship.
So that is always a thing. Do you mean like the work-life balance? Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So this is what we just talked about a little bit, what we touched on. If you work like crazy hours and you spend a lot of time at work and you work way too much and you get home, then you don't want to have sex. You hardly want to talk to your person. But here is where it comes in. What is your priority? What will it cost you to lose this relationship? And sometimes our priorities is not right anymore. And especially in the Western world where I'm coming from, is that we work so hard and we work so many hours. And then we get home, and it's kids when you're a little bit younger. The most difficult time in any marriage is between the age of 30 and 40, because that's the time when you build your career, and that's the time when your kids is small, where they need most of your attention. If you can make it past 40, your marriage can work. So it's really such a difficult time, because you spend so much time at work. But it all gets back to one thing. What is your priority? What's the price you're going to pay for working so hard and so many hours and not spending time with your wife in a relationship? It's all about that connection. If you don't have that connection, which happens through communication, you will not have the oneness, you will not have that amazing, special relationship.
So, according to you, time management and relationship management, both are the two factors which we need to take care of.
Oh, absolutely. But it also, even if you spend time, you and me, we can be in the same area, the same place for 3 hours and don't have a connection and not talk to each other. So I can be with you in an airport and you can sit beside me in a chair or in an aeroplane and we will have no connection. So the time spent have to be quality time. So you can spend half an hour quality time a day with a person and have an amazing relationship, or you can be 2-3 hours watching TV and have no relationship. But you spend time together, you had watched a movie. That's not quality time. That's not building a relationship. I cannot build a relationship with you if I don't know you. Now, this is something that men really struggle with, is to open up to women. Now, women have 4 needs. Their first need is safety. The second need, and this is where men have to listen, is open and honest communication. So the third need for women is soft, non-sexual touch. And the fourth need is guidance. So that is research being done. That is the needs of women. So open and honest communication is number 2. So you have to talk to us so that we can hear what's going on in your heart. Now, I don't say go every day into this deep, oh my love, I feel so, I've been hurt, and no, not every single day. But I mean, talk to your wife. Tell her what happened at work. Tell her what had upset you. That's the way we know and learn our partners. And even for me, after 26 years, you will not believe it. Like a month ago, I had figured out something about my husband that I didn't know about him. But if I haven't talked to him about that specific thing, I would have we assume things, and I had assumed this all the years that was the case. So I had assumed my husband is in HR, human resources, and I assumed that is what he liked, and that was his first choice of work. And the other day I said to him, so if you can choose, your life over, what would you do? And I said, will you go into aeroplanes, some navigation, being a pilot? Because he's very interested in planes. And he said to me, no, I would have been a pharmacist. I said, what? I didn't know. If I didn't ask him this question, I would have just assumed in my head what I assuming he wanted to be. Because he's so interested in planes. How can he not be in that? Interesting. But if I don't talk to him, I will not know.
There are certain point of time when both of the spouse and the person doesn't understood that they need to go to a coach, but the spouse don't want to go to a coach. So at that point of time, what should be the steps?
To do work with women alone. Basic principles that you have to follow in a marriage. Now, let's think about this. If you have two people and they're constantly in conflict with one another, then there will be no change. But if one person starts changing and say, I don't like this conflict, I'm just going to be kind, because one of my things that I proclaim is be kind. If we stop being malicious and just being kind, it will change a marriage. So now you have one person that's kind and one person that's doing the attack. What will this person do? He will say, no, wait a bit, something is going on here. She's not attacking me anymore. So why don't I just settle down a little bit? And now you're kind and you bring him coffee in bed. And I don't say you serve him all the time, but you're kind, and you're kind with your words, and you start speaking lovable words. You don't cuss, you don't do this. What will this person do? Will he keep on cussing and screaming and shouting? No, he will start relaxing as well. So one person can bring back this relationship to where it's supposed to be by just changing your attitude. Changing your attitude to be positive against the other person, because what we do is we're so negative about our spouses. So one of the things that I help people doing is to see what is the positive things in the other person right now, not things that he have been 20 years ago, but right now, what is the good things that other person have, personality traits that I have. So that is the kind of thing that you can. And now you're more positive against this person. Now you start complimenting and say, you know what? She actually likes me. And I say she, it can be he as well. She actually likes me. She's so kind with me. She likes what I'm doing. So if you compliment the person and say, wow, you know what? Thank you so much for taking out the trash. You are so amazing husband. What does he want to do? He wants to be more amazing. That's what he wants to do. Because men's first need is they want to be honored and respected. So if you start doing that and honor and respect him and trust him, it will change the whole relationship. So if we also understand that the other person is not malicious, you're both on the same team, and he's not malicious and she's not malicious, and you're both on the same team and you work to one goal, which is this marriage that have to be beautiful and wonderful, then your whole attitude changes. So if one person changes, the other person changes. If I am nice with you, Showman, you will not be able to be not nice with me. Okay, and I get it, there is people that will continue with that, but that's a completely different situation. You probably want to get out of there ASAP. But the normal person, if you're kind to me, you will be kind back. It's just the way it is, right?
Share us a case study where you have saved a broken marriage.
Yes. So, yes, I did write a book about marriage. So, and it's basically my story. It's basically what happened, and with tips and tricks in it, and how me and my husband navigated it from this unhappy marriage where we wanted to get divorced to where we are today. Yeah.
That's amazing. But what I want to know a case study where you have saved almost a broken marriage. Any of
Oh, a case. Oh, sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you were talking about my books. Sorry. So yes, I actually have quite a few examples of that where people had really go through quite a lot of stuff. And but one thing that happened to me, let me just think about a recent client of mine. So her husband had an affair, and he traveled quite a lot in different countries, from Australia, America, and he traveled from Canada. And so in every country where he comes, he had an affair. And she come to me and said, listen, my daughter is young. I don't want this to change. I love this guy. I've been with him for how many years? I think they were married like 14 years or something like that. So what now? So we started with being kind. I said to her, you're not going to get into any arguments. What we have to do is we have to make him the king at his home again. That he feels that he walk in there and he feels safe and that he feels loved. Because right now he's looking for that outside of his household. He's not looking for that here because probably he don't find it here. And I cannot really say that to a client that up straight, but it's like, why is this guy looking for outside entertainment and not at his own home? And first of all, there is different cases. This is just one specific case. There is some other cases where I suggest to people to just call it quits after we had tried a few months and say, listen, this is not working, call it quits. But in this case, it wasn't necessary. So she had done small things like taking coffee to him in bed, because before that, it was just this fight and this conflict. So he started texting these women way, way less than before, and eventually surrendered to her. And right now, they are a very happy couple. She's checking in with me once a month. I'm still seeing her once a month because she said, I don't want to lose this. I want to, she write down everything that went wrong in the month. Okay, did I handle this correctly? Did I do this right? And so, yeah, she's working really hard on their marriage. And yeah, it changed. So, yeah.
So, if I ask you, what are your coaching tools that you follow, if you can highlight?
Yes, sure. So when you come to me, the first thing that we do is we do an evaluation of your relationship. It's very important for me and for you to know where you stand, because there's some things that is good. So say, for instance, you can have an amazing sex life, but your money problems or your parenting issues is low. You don't spend time together. That can be, I have to understand that. So that is one of the first things that we do. The second thing that we do is we do the personality test, so that I can understand what your personality is. And if it is a couple that come to me, both of them do it. And then I explain to them what is the differences between the two of them. They can understand each other, because we live all with different manuals. My manual tell me this is how I do something, and your manual tell you this is how you do something. So we live with different manuals. So I always explain it like there's a washer and there's a dryer. And the washer and the dryer have the same goal. They're cleaning the clothes, right? But I cannot change a washer into a dryer, and I cannot change a dryer into a washer. So we cannot change our partners. If you understand that, that's amazing, the different personalities that you're dealing with. And then after that, we're also doing a wheel of life, which is a basic life coaching tool that most life coaches use. It's nothing funny, but that gives me an indication of what dimensions of your life you need to work on. So I divide it into 10 dimensions. And then I also show people that a relationship is 1/10 of your whole life. So you have to work on everything else to have this complete whole life. And if you're complete and whole in your life, with everything else, then you're a healthy person. Then you don't rely on your spouse to make you happy and to fulfill all your needs. Because that is very unfair. What we do is we think our spouses have to make us happy and fulfill all our needs. Our spouse is only a 10. And I'm telling you today, Showman, if my husband come to me tomorrow and tell me that my responsibility is to make him happy, I will run away to the closest island, because I don't want to take the responsibility on me to make another person happy. That is way too big. And I think that's one thing that we think. And that's what I want to show people by doing that wheel of life, is that your life is way more than just that. You have to be healthy as a person in your physical body. You have to have healthy relationship with your parents. You have to have healthy relationship in the social world, So there's so many other things that making up our lives. And then from there on, I start my coaching. I say, all right, now we have the basic tools. We understand your personality. We understand where in your life you need to give attention to. So let's start working. And that's how I work.
If you could turn back the time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what you have told her?
Wow. So I struggle to answer that question because I have a lot to say to her. So first of all, I want to say to her, be more confident in yourself. So don't sweat the small stuff. Because we think so many times that what happened at that stage in our life is so important. But it's not. Because how much can we really remember from the year that we were 18? You cannot really remember. So I will tell her, be more confident in yourself. So don't sweat the small stuff. Don't fight about everything. I think I was a way too big fighter at that stage of my life. So I want my opinion to be heard and recognized and listened to, and everybody have to be little small Erikas in the world. So, and yeah, I think if I give her advice is don't sweat the small stuff, be more confident. Don't worry and stop fighting, Erika.
If you have a billboard with anything on it, what it should be and why?
For me as a relationship coach, this is the one that I will write down. An argument is not the end. An argument is an opportunity to learn about somebody else and to grow together. So argument is not the end, it's just the beginning.
So what is the biggest failure of yours and what you have learned from that?
So the biggest failure of mine is really that time when my marriage was in this absolute chaos and mess. And if I think today, will I redo it? Yes, I will. Because it had put me on the path where I am right now. Where I am, where I can help people. Where I can make a change in families' life. Because, Showman, I realized how much, if me and Philip got divorced at that stage, it's for me, what then? I would have probably married another guy, he would have, but I have this big picture where I sit around a wedding table, me and Philip, I have 3 daughters, one of my daughters getting married at this wedding, and we together. If that vision, if I don't have that vision, I would have probably, not be where I am today. But yeah, so one of my biggest failures was definitely my marriage. And what I've learned from it is that God got this. We be on your knees, keep on praying. He got this. He knows where he wants to take you. I would have never been here helping people if it wasn't for that few years in my life where I went through really very, very difficult times.
Even in today's world, we see that most of the women are afraid of taking divorce because of the fact of financial issues. Is it correct?
You mean taking their vows because of financial issues to get married?
So what I want to tell you is, most of the women are afraid of taking divorce, even if they are in a distressed condition, because of their financial issues. So, will you agree with that?
Sorry, I don't understand that question.
To make it on a more simpler way, in this part of the world, most of the women cannot take divorce because they have got financial issues. How to deal with that?
It depends on where the financial issues coming from. So is it because yes, I get it. You cannot get divorced because of financial issues. I get it. But is it because you want to be comfortable in your own world, and just live off a guy? Or are you willing to go out there and work and get money? So it depends where it's coming from. But yes, I agree absolutely with you. So women stay there way too long because of that. And we're getting back to what we had talked about in the beginning, where I said women got married many years ago because they need men to look after them. But nowadays, that is really not the case anymore. We are so much more empowered to take our decisions, right? And to work and get money and look after ourselves. So yes, absolutely, I agree with you on that.
So, what is that one thing that you wish you have known before you start your career?
That is going to be challenging. That people don't normally, not normally, that people sometimes don't listen to you and keep on doing the wrong things. So even if you tell them, listen, don't do that, please stop it, and then they keep on doing it, and so it's challenging. I think I work with people that is really hurt and they have sadness, and we work with humans that is, by the time they get to me, they are so hurt and so sad, and they've already changed their personalities to fit in with the other spouse. They change their personalities to what they think. So that's why I'm doing the personality test first of all, that we figure out who is this person really. And so yeah, it's quite a challenge to change people's mindsets from where they've been, because they're doing these wrong things for many, many years, some people, and to change their mindsets to do something completely out of their norm, out of what they're thinking of. So yeah, it's challenging.
In general, how many relationship coaching programs does a person need to attend?
I always say at least 3 months coming to me every week. So, but I work different ways, Sherman. For couples, I do a weekend, a breakaway weekend, and I call it the make it or break it weekend. That weekend, we sit and we sort out your issues. We don't get to all your issues, but what I do is I sit with the wife and I sit with the husband separately, and I hear from them what is their issues. And then I bring them together. And then we work on the main issues that I see in the marriage. And we sit with a whole weekend and we work on this. And I'm telling you, by that end of the weekend, we can go on, we had resolved it or not. For me, with couples, I don't like to send them home week after week after week. There's 6 days between they see me that they can fight and figure out more troubles. And so we go in for a weekend and we focus and we work on that marriage. So the make it or break it weekend. and we fight it out and we work through it. So, but for individuals, it's a little, I do the 3 months. So you come to me for 3 months, week after week. So the first month we normally take to determine who you are, where's your issues, and the second month we really started working on the marriage. And the third month is, okay, now we can make a little bit of changes in the marriage because we know now what we had done the second month, what work and what don't work. And we make the changes. And yeah, so that's how I really work. Different ways with individuals and couples. Couples, we go in a weekend, we fight it out. So,
So how long is the session?
the session is an hour.
In both the
An hour, yeah.
couple cases and also in individual cases also?
Again?
In both the cases, when you are attending a couple or when you are attending an individual, in both the cases?
No. I don't see couples like in the hour sessions. I only see couples over the weekends. So I don't do couples like 3 months. There's way too many times for them to fight. No. So what I do is after we had done the weekend and they want to come and see me, then I know that their base is strong. And then we could do follow-ups, and that is just, okay, we still struggle with this little thing, we cannot figure it out, or this new thing had pop up, help us with that. So, but that is only after the first weekend. I only do weekends with couples and then follow-ups, but with individuals, it's the hour a week, consistently for 3 months. And you will see, your life will change after that.
So what are the best resources that helped you along the way?
So for myself or for my clients?
For yourself.
For myself? So for myself, I am really working on myself to be the best version of myself. If I'm sitting in front of a client, I have to know that what I do really works. What I do in my marriage works. So that is really, really important for me to do that. So I am constantly learning. I'm going to start now again another coaching course in September this year, because I feel I have to constantly develop myself and work on my relationship. Me and my husband also have a rule. From 2004, we attend a marriage seminar course or something like that once a year for a weekend. So we go, we do a breakaway and we attend somebody else's where we just focus for a whole weekend on ourselves. And there's always things that coming up, although that me and my husband have a very strong relationship. But you sit in here and say, wow, I haven't think about that. So let me talk to him about that. And so we constantly work on our relationship. So for me, sources is different kinds of sources that I keep on working on myself.
What advice would you like to give to someone who wants to pursue a career similar to that of yours?
Want to pursue a what?
Want to pursue a career similar to that of yours.
That want to come and see me? Is that what you mean?
No. What I meant is, if you are somebody's idol who wants to be like you, what advice would you like to give to him?
Oh, okay. Somebody like me. Ooh, are we going to create another Erika? Yay! Well, if you want to be a relationship coach, I think one of the things that is important is that you have to have the wisdom that comes with years. If you're married for 1 or 2 years, you probably want to give rather advice to the dating people and say, how do you date? But to be in the position where I am, and this is only my feeling, and I can be totally wrong. So, but to be in the position where I am, where I give marriage advice, is that I went through the turmoil of a relationship that almost broke. So that we almost divorced. How did I fix that? So it's wisdom. It's going through all these years. It's like you cannot be a mechanic of a car. You cannot fix a car if you haven't fixed your first car. You have to learn how to do this. So, and then as you know, I've studied psychology. I've done 2 coaching courses already, and I'm going to do a 3rd one. It's constantly developing this and make sure that what you preach is working, because if it's not working in my relationship, in my marriage, then, it's like a mechanic. You fix somebody else's car, and your car is not working. It's like, come on. Yeah.
If you step into my shoes, what you have
Yes.
asked yourself that I haven't?
Ah, you're asking all these good questions. Gosh. What would I ask myself is, oh my golly, how long does it take to become happy? Perhaps that. Yeah, let's answer that one.
Yeah.
So when your relationships take different time spans to be fixed. So for me and my husband, it really took from the time that he gave his heart back to God another 2 years before I trusted him completely and fully again. Now remember, my husband didn't have an affair or something like that. For me to trust him, to be my husband and do what I expected was my requirements of a marriage. And it took me 2 years. So I think sometimes people is way too fast and they just want to go out there and things have to happen like this and fix it up. But no, it don't work like that. It's patience. It's building trust. Start loving each other, doing the right things over and over and over again till it becomes a belief that you believe this marriage is forever again.
So where can my listeners connect with you?
They can go to my website, and it's erikabotha.com. That will be the easiest way. And it's Erika with a K. I'm sure you will have it in the show notes, how you write my name. And it's really erikabotha.com. Easy peasy. Go to my website. There you can book directly a call with me. You can email me. You can contact me. Whatever works for you that is convenient. And of course, I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram. I tried TikTok. I struggle with that one.
So for the listeners and the viewers, all those how you can connect Erika will be given on the show notes itself. You can check the show notes. And now the last question to Erika. What does chase your dream mean to you?
Chase your dream. It's you have a dream and you go for it. Doesn't matter what it costs you. So in my case, chasing my dream of making people happy in their marriages, it cost me a lot of time. It cost me a lot of studies. It cost me constant development. It cost me working on my own relationship. There's always a price to pay. It's never for nothing. I've never heard of anybody, right, that got to what they want without putting in effort. And it's not like I'm going to have a wine to my hand, say, "Woo, I have an amazing life." No, it's chasing. It's hard work, taking every opportunity, and there's a lot of distractions in the road, but going over it.
So with that, we have come to the end of the show. It was an absolute honor to have you in my show, and the discussion was fabulous.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for all the difficult questions. Gee whiz.
That's all for today. Thank you, viewers, for viewing this show. Do check the show notes if you want to listen to the podcast, which is available on Anchor, Google, and Apple platform. The link is there. Do subscribe us and share with your family members, enemies, and friends.